I've made so many holes in this beanbag. Start again. Look, I liked Dune, okay? Like, I do like it. It's not that I don't like it. I do. Denis Villeneuve is like the definition of the modern day auteur. Like Blade Runner 2049 actually superseded my expectations, and considering the original Blade Runner was one of my favorite films ever, for him to do that, damn! Like, yeah, it's good. It's good. Also, Prisoners, go watch Prisoners. Thank me later. And also, I honestly don't think anyone else could have done a better job with the job given. But just hear me out. P.S. This video is designed for people that have seen Dune, both Dune and Game of Thrones. So there's pretty big spoilers coming up for both of them. So you might want to, if you haven't seen them yet, which you should have, because like, especially Game of Thrones, like you haven't seen Game of Thrones, you probably shouldn't even be on this channel. Just kidding. Subscribe. Okay, so I realized that Dune should have been a HBO TV series roughly when Jason Momoa's character Duncan Idaho died. That's when I realized I actually don't really care that he died. There's just so much going on in this story. Very few of the relationships have time to ferment, to grow. So like even when the Duke died, again, I didn't really care as much as I probably should have. I cared a little more than I did for when Duncan died, but not a lot more. And most of that is probably because I have a guy crush on Oscar Isaac. I don't know. Gay! Decent beard game though, I have to say. Beard watch, I would say 4 out of 5. Good beard. Aside from Paul and Jessica, the rest just kind of feels like noise. Like the Baron and his nephew. I mean, the only reason I can tell that these guys are supposed to be the bad guys, other than the significant narrative points in the later portion of the film, prior to that, it's mostly just that they both talk in bad guy voices, and the Harkonnens predominantly wear black. And this oil bath thing later, which is like bad guy 101. It's kind of like his version of Darth Vader, when he takes off the thing and he's in that like weird cubicle. Yeah. Hey. Like, I don't actively feel like I dislike these characters. There's just, and that's not Denis Villeneuve's fault, really. It's just there's not enough time in a 2.5 hour film. Like, you remember Joffrey?
Tell me, which do you favor? Your fingers or your tongue?
Like, I hated that guy. Like, I hated him so much more. And I hate him so much that when he did eventually die, like, I didn't feel like he suffered enough to redeem his horrible qualities. That's the kind of hate you get from hours of episodes reinforcing what makes a villain a good villain. And that's something that the books and the lore do provide. It provides a backstory for the Harkonnens and why they're so grotesque, and even that the Baron's close allies, such as his nephew, is secretly vying for his death and plotting and scheming behind his back to one day overtake his position. Even the game Dune 2000 touches on this a little bit with its limited FMV sequences. And it really makes it evident what the limitations of a major motion picture are when you watch Dune. Again, this isn't Denis Villeneuve's fault. I honestly don't think anyone else could have done a better job with transferring it to a film structure. And I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of the video because I know there's some hate coming my way. Yeah. When you try to squeeze so much into 2.5 hours, it's just impossible. And for that reason, I am incredibly grateful that it has been split up into 2 films. I think trying to put in this much story and this much lore into one film would have just been narrative suicide, just like the David Lynch film was. And also, I won't be talking much about that film in this video for this discussion, just because it's not really relevant to the point I'm trying to make. The things that made Game of Thrones so good was the build-up and the payoff. Even if you forget how poorly received the last season was, I think a lot of people would agree that the series as a whole had phenomenal build-up, like textbook. And at points, some incredible payoffs, just maybe not the last season as much. But I kind of didn't mind it. Nah.
And are you happy with how things ended?
And yeah, with that, I got thinking, hey, Warner Brothers own HBO, of which there's been a pretty big Game of Thrones shaped hole for the past couple of years. You've got the long-winded narrative end goal. You've got Jason Momoa. You've got the battle of houses and the family dynamic. Like, heck, you even have the CGI bait with the sandworms replacing the dragons. Like, to me, it almost seems like a no-brainer. Yet, it wasn't to be.
And yes, I do know of the prequel series that's set to release on HBO, Dune Sisterhood, which explores the Bene Gesserit, and I'm sure it has the potential to be
Somewhat decent, but I don't know, it almost feels like it's rubbing in salt into the wound of what could have been. I mean, I hope it's good, but just like the Game of Thrones prequel series that's coming, I kind of don't care. Like, there's something about prequels that just screams cash grab to me. Yeah, and I know that's really negative, but that's how Samisa feel. Stop it. You remember that part when Duncan goes off to find the Fremen, and then later on in the film he talks about how he almost died, but he found them, and he had this like cool little story about his adventure where he went on, and we never got to see that at all. Like, that could have been an entire episode where we just followed just Duncan in the middle of this crazy desert, in the middle of this alien planet we're seeing for the first time, and with him trying to find a mysterious Fremen that we've heard so much about. That would have made me care about him a lot more when he did die. And, a lot more than a couple of pats on the back.
No. Since that's why you listen.
Which seems to be what they did there. And what about the Mentats as well? Like, I'm pretty sure the word Mentat isn't even said once in this film. We just get this thing instead. It seems like quite an oversight for something that's a big part of the universe, and I don't know, like, maybe because the lead protagonist Paul is a Mentat, you might want to put it in the film. And again, yes, I know, Mark, you're saying, what about the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries, which is actually okay, like, it's not bad. I've seen it, the first season. It was really well received at the time, and so was its sequel series, which was based on the other two books in the first trilogy, which, by the way, starred James McAvoy and Susan Sarandon. What? Really? That's just crazy. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. But even though it was like 3 episodes, it only lasted a total of 5 hours, which is roughly what you're probably going to get with the new film that comes out. And so it's not really the expansion I'm talking about here. And also, that series just did not age well. I guess it's like 20 years old, if you watch it today, but the sandworms in it just reminded me of that episode of South Park. Like, there are 3 mainline books in the Dune series, and then another trilogy which was released afterwards. That's 6 books in the main story. And I guess I just want to end with, like, imagine if Game of Thrones wasn't an 8-part series, and instead it was a cinema trilogy. It probably could have been decent, just as the Dune film is decent, because it's directed by someone that's an absolute master class in modern day directing. But it would have been seriously diluted narratively compared to the TV show. And novels of this size, with this much lore, are just begging to be made into a HBO epic, in my opinion. And that's the only way I think you can truly do it justice. As good as this film is, and I'm sure as great as the sequel's going to be, if you disagree, you can go ahead, suck my big old toe, suck my toe sweat. Anyway, there's nothing anyone can do now. I guess I just thought the idea of a Dune HBO epic TV series in the vein of Game of Thrones is just a no-brainer, and it would have been a cool topic for a video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm sure everybody's going to say, Mark, you're wrong. I hate you, Mark. Unsub. I know you've only got like 10 subs. Now you've got 9. I really, really do like the film. Like, I just feel like there was maybe just a little, like, slight missed opportunity here. And again, I thought it'd be cool to explore this. And also, I'm just desperate for a quick video to make that's semi-relevant to current trends. It's all about the algorithm, guys. Also, real quick, props to WB for bankrolling this thing. Props, Maggie. Anyway, that's it. Fingers crossed for the Last of Us HBO TV series. Okay, Until next time, like and subscribe and stay happy. I totally forgot to say that in the first video. That's why I'm saying it now. Second video done. Second video rave. Disco, disco, rave, rave, rave. This is in the actual script. Shout out to my first subscribers. Edborn, Chris, Gaming, Robot. That's me doing a robot dance. Edward Zoo. Don't know if I'm saying his surname properly. Jado Potato. Explosions. Mark has to do explosion effects later. Let's not forget Sharky Coo. Alright, I'm done. J'ai fini. Have we made a hole? There's definitely some beanbag juice over there.